right, welcome into another episode of the 2022 MLB Draft Show. And tonight we got another headliner. We got Orange Lutheran's own LSU commit now, Mikey Romero. Mikey, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Ian, welcome to the show as well. We usually like to start this thing off by just kind of giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself, talk about who Mikey Romero is on the field, talk about who Mikey Romero is a little bit off the field.
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Mikey Romero. I come from a baseball, softball family. My dad played baseball up into college. My mom was a softball player. I have three sisters. One played softball in Michigan. One played softball at Oklahoma. I got a little sister who's coming up the ranks right now. On the field, I can consider myself a pretty fiery player. I like to play with my hair on fire. Play with a chip on my shoulder. I don't get too caught up in the outside noise. I just kind of let the game in between the lines speak. And off the field, pretty chill dude, laid back dude. I like to work. I'll still work out. Something with baseball. If I'm not playing baseball, I'll probably be hanging out with my girlfriend, or I'll go to the beach, or just hang out with some of my boys. But that's a pretty quick rundown.
Well, let me follow up with a quick question because I know Ian's curious about it too. Are you the best baller in your family?
Yeah, no doubt.
Is there a close second?
I mean, Sierra. I think Sierra's close second, but I still think there's a pretty big gap right there.
Good to know. Good to know.
Well, I just like to. My first thing I like to ask everybody when we get on here is just talk to me a little bit about how your year went, especially this summer. I mean, you were all over in every big event, big showcase. I mean, you finished it up this past weekend at WWBA. Finished your last tournament with San Diego show. It's been the last 10 years. So just talk to me a little bit how everything went for you this summer.
Yeah, I mean, summer was pretty special. Like you said, it was my last. Just being able to travel, pretty much all around the country is pretty sweet. Started off at PDP, or no, I started off just, out here in San Diego, small little tournament. And then I got to go to Georgia for WWBA. And then from Georgia, I was at the National in Florida. And, I went straight from WWBA to Florida. And then after that, came home, had some downtime for a couple of days, went to PDP. And then, USA, area codes, all that good stuff. Ended in Jupiter with WWBA. And then, the other stuff in between, like All-American game for Perfect Game in San Diego, right in my backyard. And then the Under Armour game, which was in Kansas City, which is pretty sweet. But, just being all around the country, it was a pretty cool experience. The hardest part was probably just the time zone change, flying from Georgia and then back home, get used to California time again, go back out to Florida. It was a grind, but, it was worth it. It was a pretty memorable summer for me.
I want to talk a little bit about some of those perfect game showcases that you were talking about there. I wouldn't say that, you weren't necessarily the poster child for perfect game this year, but I think Perfect Game did make a pretty concerted effort to kind of highlight you as one of the figureheads of the 2022 class, and that really started with the All-American Classic and Perfect Game National. You were kind of their guy. What did that mean to you? Kind of what did it? How did it feel when they came to you and said, "Hey, we'd really like you to represent Perfect Game in a lot of these places"?
It's pretty sweet. Perfect Game does a lot of things the right way, and to be considered one of their guys, I think it was pretty cool. Being selected as the first All-American, being having the game in my backyard, as a local kid, it was pretty cool. And to, get the recognition at Petco, meeting Trevor Hoffman, it was pretty sweet. But for them to just recognize me as, one of their guys, it was pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. Well, I want to jump back one more thing I mentioned before and just talk a little bit about the San Diego show experience for the last 10 years. Sorry about that, but for the last 10 years. But I saw you last year for the first time when I came out to see Marcelo at WWBA and got my first experience seeing you live. So that was really it for me for seeing the show, and I saw you for the last few years. But just talk to me about how that was for you as a person, how it grew your career.
Yeah, I mean, played with the San Diego Show since I was like 8 years old. It's pretty crazy because I went from Little League baseball to the San Diego Show, and it was quite the change. I was never really used to having the coaches get on you. It was just it was something new. But the San Diego Show brought that. They gave me that little chip on my shoulder that I just kind of rode with. But just growing up with the same guys and playing with the same guys, it was pretty cool. I'm really grateful that I wasn't part of a big organization team that pulls players from everywhere. It was pretty sweet growing up with the guys that I've grown up with since I was 8 years old, and be able to finish out the career in Jupiter. That was really important to me. I wasn't one of the guys that was just trying to go and play for the best organizations. I was trying to win it with the guys that we had and just the guys that I grew up with.
We usually wait until the end of the show to do a little bit of a hot seat, but we were talking off the air. You're still good buddies with Marcelo. Marcelo was a really high pick, so I'm going to kind of put you on the hot seat here. Who's the better pure hitter, you or Marcelo?
I'm going to say me. That's a confidence side. I'm going to say me. I love Marcelo, but I 100% think it's me. I love him, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And I think it's me.
Who's got the better hands?
Me. What's that?
Who's got the better hands?
Honestly, I'd say that's a tie right there.
All right.
I think I got the cleaner double play turn, but I think he has a nice backhand. So I don't know. I think it can go either way.
How about who's a better runner?
Probably Marcelo, but I'll get down the baseline.
All right. How about last one? Who's got a better arm?
I'd say Marcelo, but I'd say that my internal clock is better.
Okay. All right. The Boston Red Sox are watching.
Toss up. Yeah. Well, just talk to me a little bit about your swing in general, man. You have a really quick to the bat to ball approach is really special. I've seen it all throughout the summer. You really can handle 95. You can handle off speed. You can handle you can handle breaking balls. So just talking about a little bit of your approach at the plate every time you step into the box.
Yeah. So, when you're seeing this summer, my approach all summer was, I figured I was going to try, people were going to try and challenge me with fastballs, places like PG National, like All-American games. I'm just stepping in the box looking to hit the first pitch fastball. I think that a lot of pitchers just their ego gets a little too big for them, and they'll try and pump a 95 right by you, but that's when you ambush it. So I think that when it came to that part, I think just being ready to hit a fastball was really the biggest thing for me. I just like to keep things simple. Line drive approach. Occasionally lift one out, but I just try and stick to my swing. I don't want to get too big. I'm at best when I'm just sticking to my own swing.
Let's talk a little bit about next steps. So you were committed to Arizona. Obviously, Jay Johnson moves on to LSU. You switched to LSU. What is it about Baton Rouge that is really pulling you in? Obviously, Jay Johnson is a big part of that, but what are you most excited about for college baseball?
Yeah, the SEC, it's Alex Box Stadium, 13,000 fans screaming, can't wait to, get in that atmosphere, if that's the path that I take. It's just a blessing to be able to be committed to a place like LSU, Louisiana, it's a family kind of feel. And, I got my boy Jordan Thompson there right now. He tells me about it all the time. So it's pretty cool just to see and get kind of an inside look at it. But, the fan base, just the winning tradition that they have, I think it'd be pretty cool to be part of.
Really quick, just to kind of piggyback off that, you had mentioned if that's the path that you take, I don't want to look too far forward, but if you do end up getting selected in the draft, is there something in terms of team culture or an organizational culture that you're looking for from the team that could end up drafting you?
Honestly, I'd be happy to play for any team that takes me. Right now I'd say that, I'm just excited to get to LSU, and, if a team snags me in the draft, then, that's the path I take. But, we'll see. I'm not really looking past anything right now. I'm just trying to stay in the moment and see when that time comes.
Yeah, you still got a whole spring ahead of you, my
Yeah.
man.
Well, talking about next steps, I want to mention something a little bit off topic here, but talking about this deal you've made with Big League Chew recently that I possibly saw, how did that come about? Because I think that's pretty fantastic to see for a kid who's still in high school, pretty much.
Yeah, so there's a picture of me at the All American Classic, and I'm filling a ground ball, and I got a bubble coming out of my mouth. And they hit me up on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, is that Big League Chew?" And I was just like, "Yeah," because I mean, I was actually chewing Big League Chew, and I chewed it, and blew a bubble. The camera guy hooked me up with a pretty sweet picture. I posted it, and that's really how that came about. I was actually unsure at first if I was gonna be able to do the deal, just because I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I looked into it, and I saw that California was allowing their high school athletes to do NIL stuff. So, fortunately, I was able to hit them back and be able to be part of their team.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, not gonna go into the nitty gritties of the details, but you got all the Big League Chew you can ask for now, yeah.
Pretty sweet, yeah. I'm able to hook my teammates up with some Big League Chew.
There you go. That's already a competitive advantage. All right, man. Well, I want to at least ask one more question about baseball here. San Diego show, you guys are pretty teched up, and you traveled so much. You've probably been hooked up to every K-Vest and hit tracks and anything all over the country. Is that something that you really like to incorporate into your game? Do you like to kind of see your blast motion numbers or the data behind your swing, or are you more of a feel guy? Like, how do you prefer to train?
I'm more of a feel guy. I'll get in the cage and I'll just feel things out. My swing has gone through some changes, not really crazy big changes. I just like to feel it out. At PG National, there's some video. My hands were a lot higher than how they were. I made some adjustments, but yeah, I'm more of a feel guy. If I get on the hit tracks, I'll just try and hit the ball as far and as hard as I can.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, when it comes to blast motion, I haven't really got into it that much, but I'm just a feel guy. Just like to feel my swing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, next steps, you got one last spring before you move on to either LSU or hearing your name called in draft. What's one major thing you'd like to work on as you head into this next spring?
I think just the strength aspect of it. I think once I add a couple more pounds, which is what I'm gonna do before the spring, I think that's gonna just separate myself. I'm just gonna separate myself a little bit more, and the baseball side of it, I'll just keep my swing and my fielding sharp. But just the strength aspect of it, just a part that's outside of baseball. I think once I get stronger, I'll just be able to separate myself more and be able to put more force into baseballs and be able to throw baseballs harder.
I got one more question in the baseball side of things, and I think you're the perfect person to ask this. You're not a prototypical power hitter. You really make your money on your hit tool and your polish. Is there a guy in the league right now that you really kind of try to model your game after, or you just have a ton of respect for because it's how you play? Maybe I guess I'm asking, have you been comped to anyone, or do you try to model off of someone?
Yeah, I mean, I like watching Corey Seager and Brandon Crawford play. Just the way they play. Corey Seager's not the flashiest dude. He just gets the job done. And then, you got Brandon Crawford. I mean, he's not a crazy flashy dude either, but, he's just got some swag, got the long hair. He just seems to be doing everything right. But, those two guys, I really like to model my game after. Daniel Murphy, I love his swing. I would always
throwback
swing. I had when I was younger, I went through a phase where, like his finish is like his hands like come back. I went through a phase where I did that for a little bit. It was pretty sweet. But Daniel Murphy, I really like those guys.
That's a good answer. Ian, you got anything else, man?
I don't, man. I think it's time for your off the wall questions to close us out here, there, Joe.
Man, I gotta think of some new off the wall questions because we've been getting some crazy answers lately. All right, Mikey. So here's what I'm going to hit you with first. Let's say hypothetically you end up getting drafted. If there's one guy in your high school prep class that you would love to be a teammate with at the next level, who would it be?
I'd say a guy like Adonis Guzman probably.
Okay.
Dish that is just going to hose everybody. He's going to back everyone. But I mean, yeah, I really like the way Adonis plays. He's always looking for outs.
All right. You've hit just about everyone this summer, but was there a pitcher that you thought was nastier than the rest? Someone that gave you fits?
I think the nastiest pitcher I faced was probably Lewis.
Okay.
Ball. I mean, he's not gonna it's not crazy velo, but his ball just dances everywhere.
Yeah,
Straight
Luis Rodriguez.
change ups. I think
It's pretty
he has the best.
nasty.
Honestly, in our class, it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of the most underrated arms in this class right now. All right, so last question to kind of keep you on your feet in terms of your teammates. You've got some pretty good drip on the field, but I got to know, out of anyone that you've played with, who's got the worst drip in this class?
Probably Gavin Keelan or Cole Young.
That's the second Cole Young we've gotten. And actually, Cole Young he was upset when we told him live on air that he got slapped with that.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Young, Gavin Keelan, both those guys good ball players, but the drip is just not there.
Do you got any good stories about Cole Young's lack of drip? Like what's standing out?
I think there's a picture of us at Perfect Game, and I'm like messing with his jersey, and he pulls his sleeves up, and I'm like just messing with him, like, bro, like, you think that looks drippy? Like what are you trying to do? Like make your arms look jacked or something? And he's just giving him a hard time. But,
nice,
just
man.
friendly banner.
Love that.
All right, so I guess the trademark question that we'll leave you off on here. What's the dumbest fact that you know about literally anything that nobody else knows?
I feel like I've heard that. What is it? Skittles, like no matter what color they are, they always they're the same flavor. I think they just mess with you. That's what I've heard.
Oh man, don't ruin that for me. Actually, on that note, I heard something 2 days ago that yellow Skittles are banned in like 70% of countries around the world because of the dye that's used.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Skittles are the hot topic, man. they're what's in right now. All right, man. Mikey Romero, thank you so much for joining us on the draft show. We're we're huge fans of you. West Coast kid. I'm West Coast. Ian's East Coast. Finally get some West Coast love on this show. We'll be rooting for you, man, whether it ends up being at LSU or at the next level. Have enjoyed watching you hit all summer. Look forward to the spring, and we'll see what's to come.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for
having me. All right, man.